Welcome back to the show. Now we have seen a concrete jungle and the effects of high-rise buildings, especially on infrastructure and businesses, and also to residents. So I want us to discuss sustainability. What can you do to have green spaces? Mama Mazingira, Anita Jadida, is here to give us more information. Mimi, I know Nairobi means cool waters. Question is it? You know, it's interesting how people understand that trees are important, but they don't understand how important.
It is a tragedy.
Yeah. How bad is it?
Nairobi was once that one beautiful city that was just nice. But the economic activities and people just wanted to put up high rise. We have now become a city on the concrete instead of a city in the sun.
Which is very unfortunate. Now, let's talk about sustainability. World over, this is a conversation everybody's having. What is sustainability?
It is just our ability to use our resources in such a way that we do not compromise the future generations, the ability to use the resources also.
Okay.
We must be conscious that there is another generation that needs these same resources that we have. So we have to use them in such a way that we will not compromise. So we don't deplete. We must be able to make sure that there is enough for us and for another generation.
Okay. I know you're very passionate when it comes to the environment and planting trees and initiatives. What are some of the initiatives that you have that are helping us then sustain the ecosystem?
We have been doing a lot of activities, planting trees in government forests, in institution lands, and even at the coast where we do a lot of mangroves. So that is one of the initiatives that we have. Then there is another initiative which I call Plant My Line, because we need to be environmentally conscious of our lifestyle. Research has shown that a human being requires at least 7 to 9 trees in your lifetime for the oxygen that you breathe in.
Only?
9 trees, mature trees.
Okay.
One tree can be able to give about 18 people enough oxygen in 1 year. So wherever you go, wherever you are, make sure you have your 9 trees. And I say this is how we plant them. Don't just plant anyhow. So you do 3 fruits, you do 3 indigenous, and you do 3 ornamental or exotic depending on where you are. If you're in Nairobi, you may not need firewood. So what you need are the ornamental trees for beauty. Okay. So if you mix the 3 types, you will have a beautiful ecosystem, a beautiful place that you can just be able to sit and relax.
Tulipewa mazingira ndio najua watu wanalala badala ya kwenda kupanda miti. So that's a very good thing you've said. Just take the day, plant your 9 trees. That is all.
Yeah, just plant your 9.
Aya. Now,
and there is nobody who cannot afford 9 trees. Yes.
We have a growing demand for housing in cities like Nairobi. How do you ensure it's sustainable even with that demand for growth of housing?
When we are planning, especially our urban centers and our cities, we must incorporate green spaces. There are different ways of incorporating, green spaces. Like now, let's talk of a Karura forest.
Yeah.
This one now serves quite the city in such a way that is the carbon sink for the city, But now that Karura is only on one side, what about the other sides? One of the things that we can do is when you get your little plot, I'm sure that plot can fit 9 trees. When we are planning the estates, then on every plot, let's say you were to plant only 2 trees in front of every house. Okay? Look at how that estate would look like. It will be a leafy suburb. But today, what do? You make sure there is nothing, not even a flower, nothing. So if we can also encourage using even the potted plants, you can, a lot of people say, I don't have somewhere to plant. No, you can get a container and plant your
on your balcony hapo.
Yeah, on the balcony, on the front, on the frontage of your house. You can do all that. And then you can even incorporate herbs so that you don't just plant the tree. Why don't you also do herbs? And herbs, you can just do them even around that tree. When you go and you rest under that tree, you'll be doing a lot of justice to your health.
To your health, yeah.
Where we have the concrete, why are we having concrete all through? Why can't we have trees spotted along the concretes. So those are the kind of things that we must be able to look at. And I would ask the county governments, one of the things that the county governments should be doing is to make sure if you have a business, before you renew your license, make sure you have your 2 trees on front of your shop, whether it is permanent or in containers. That way, we would have a city that has the resemblance of green space.
Jedida, can you imagine a Nairobi without skyscrapers, without high-rise buildings? How would that be?
That would be heavenly. You would walk when you are breathing fresh air. You would walk when you are not in this kind of sun, you know, and that wherever you walk, you are walking under the shade. That would be heavenly. But unfortunately, you can see that we are already, the skyscrapers are now actually going almost now to 50 floors.
Yeah.
And, you know, the demand for housing. But, you know, there is a way that we can look at how do we then improve our environment. And one of the ways that we can do, now that we may not have a Nairobi without the high-rise and all that, we can also look at incorporating the indoor plants. There are plants, particular plants that can give you oxygen when they are indoors. We have those kind of plants. And this is the time now that we need to do and create awareness of improving our homes using the indoor plants. And that will be one other way of, you know, sustainably.
You're saying this is a responsibility for individuals to ensure.
It's not for individuals, but we need a lot of awareness so that they also get to know how else can I get my oxygen even without the outside having the tree. We have a lot of plants that you can plant indoors in nice containers on the balconies, and then they will still be able to give you some oxygen.
Now, I want to enjoy this Cabriz to tutembee kidogo, but I want to know, they call him mazingira. Kuna mtu amekupa konkoli?
I have actually been given some awards.
Okay.
The Council of Governors recognized me and they gave me as the Devolution Warrior Award. I was also given the Head of State Commendation, recommended by the Kenya Defense Forces. I was also nominated among the top 100 most impactful women on this platform of environment.
Okay. Give a parting shot.
You must be very, very conscious about the environment conservation. Because if we continue at the speed that we are destroying our environment and cutting down trees, in the next 10 years, and I'm not a prophet of doom, a prophetess of doom, we are going to have a problem with water. We are going to have more diseases because, you know, the trees, they help you with your mental wellness. So when you do not have this kind of a forest, then your stress increases. Some other diseases, they will increase. Because some of the diseases we have is because of the pollution that we have. So if we can be conscious about being mindful of the ecosystem, then we'll be saying that the future generations to come, they have somewhere they can call a planet that is habitable. This generation of from the years of the 1960s, I call it the generation of sin. It is the generation that has cut off trees. They have done it, you know, without thinking about tomorrow. And I say, whenever I speak to them, I tell them, you first start by saying, I am sorry for what I have done. I have messed the ecosystem. I have messed you. At times I tell them, speak to the trees and tell them, you had neighbors, which I do.
Okay.
And we must return these neighbors. That is why I say, plant my 9. Be very conscious. Just do your 9 trees and let God do the rest for you. That is what I would say.
Asante sana, Jedida, I appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Sasa, let me go take care of my mental wellness and izile muti pale.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Asante
I appreciate it. Okay. We've heard from Mama Mazingira, Jedida, and she's told us the importance of green spaces and what that does for generations to come, even for ourselves. Remember, the environment is your responsibility. I hope this episode has been an eye-opener for a sustainable framework to ensure that our city is friendlier, cleaner, and greener. Thank you for staying with me today. Now, I want to hear from you. Who do you want us to cover in this show? And we'll bring them to you, or even your feedback and your comments. The SMS number is 22422, or all my social handle pages at The Land and Property Diary and at Naomi Mbuvi. Until next week, have a fantastic